gentlemen, it's time for the next act. Put your hands together. Start the clapping, start the cheering, start the shouting. Please, welcome to the stage, Mr. Christian Byrne and Shirley, your teeth are lovely.
Hey, Brendan, you little prick. Heard you been using BeatSync. What, you can't mix final? You fucking pussy, oh, you're dead. Anyway, that's enough of that. Look down, there's Tickle Town. There's the River Tum. Tickle on the what? Tickle on the tum. Ra-cha-cha, da-da-da. Skip it up, do it. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh, God. Oh, come on.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Who's this?
Oh.
Wow.
Fucking prick!
That's dark.
I guess that's a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, my goodness, that took Shirley Spear and Parsley away. She's more scared of that than she's of having parsley in her tea. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause, clapping, screaming, shouting. Maybe call the police for Mr. Christian. And ladies and gentlemen, to get the next act up, we're going to do that by clapping, cheering, shouting, and whooping as we welcome to the stage the amazing Mr. Trevor Schimmel. Come on, Trevor.
Woo!
Hello! Is anyone there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lockdown! Schmuck down! The lockdown is easing. To hell with the sneezing. So open the windows and please let the breeze in. And stop all your teasing. I know that your key's in the lock because you want to go out and buy cheese in. Now the lockdown is easing. People keep coming up to me and saying, Trev, how you going? What did you do in lockdown? And I say to these people, what did you do in lockdown? Mind your own business, you miserable bastard. What I do in lockdown stays in lockdown. Okay. But for you people, I will say that over the last few months, I've been brushing up on my triangle skills. There it is. Now, I had this one sent over from Bermuda. It did get lost in the post, but just before lockdown, the postman brought it, so I've been practicing. Now, I have been using one of these, but the cold weather's got to it, and that's my beta carotene. But when lockdown's really bad, you know, the dark days, I've learned a little song that cheers me up, and I'm going to sing it to you now. I've lost track of me minute. I'm not sure how long I've got, but I'll finish with this. Don't worry about it. Cause every little I'll be alright. Now, before I go, what is this for? And here is one I did earlier.
Hey.
I think that's a minute.
We've been doing open mic comedy for 12 years, 3 nights a week, maybe 4 or 5. And I think it's people like Trevor make it worthwhile. Give him a round of applause. Everybody's got a giggle in them, and we like to see it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have one more comedian on the stage. Start the clapping, start the cheering, start the shouting, start the whooping, start the banging on the walls, start the screaming. Yeah. Downey, come on. Where are you?
Hey. Hello. Oh,
Hello.
I can see me big. Hi, what a gig. what minutes we've had. I hope Christian's okay. We've watched the trust in Dave and Shirley's relationship evaporate, so that's been quite exciting. I'm going to brag to Marty because I actually was in a girls' pub toilet like a few hours ago. I know, but the thing is, there were no. It's like 1 in, 1 out, so there's no other girls.
Oh.
So all the compliments go, and there are just these really austere signs about washing your hands. I'm sorry. One more thing we've lost. One more casualty. What were we gonna say? How are you doing? How are your parents? They're all right. I hope they're all right. I feel it's a time for like real chat now in the pandemic because there's nothing else to do apart from consider the meaning of life. And if you do fancy having like a healing chat with your parents, I suggest you get it in sooner rather than later. And I've got some suggested lines of inquiry. Why do you value being right over being playful? So something I want to ask my dad. Who hurt you? And so the house. I've wildly lost track of my time. I think that might be a minute. Thanks very much.
I don't know if this is going to come across because I can't remember enough of it, but there's a really well-known poem, and I don't know if you know it. And if you read it one way, it's really racist, and if you read it backwards, it's really beautiful and kind. It's a very clever poem. And I wish I had it, but basically, if you read it one way, it's horrible and racist, and if you read it backwards, it's beautiful and kind. And the whole idea is about making people think differently, right? Now, my dad's a Daily Mail reader, okay, and during lockdown, we'd go meet him, and he would just stand on the drive outside his door like this, and we would be 2 meters away. And we went round once, and he decided to read this poem out. So my dad stood on it. Now, we know my dad, he's not a proper racist, but he's a Daily Mail racist. Do you know what I mean? He's not too and he'd been on his own for about 2 months. And our next door neighbour's Asian on both sides. And he has arguments with them, not about being Asian, but about their parking. So we'd come round, he'd had a go at them, he'd had a go at them about their parking. And then he said to me and Shirley, I've got something I want to tell you. And he stood on our drive, like the drive, like this, all on his own. And he started to read it out, and he read it the racist way. Now, at this point, we'd never heard of this poem that's beautiful the other way. And we were just sat listening to my dad reading out this awful racist diatribe with 2 lots of neighbours who he's been arguing with about their parking. And we suddenly thought it wasn't the parking. He's completely lost it, and he's completely racist.
He's just gone.
Oh, God.
And then he looked at us and said, what do you think of that? And me and Shirley just sat there in silence. He's lost it. And then he said, because actually it's a really beautiful poem, and he read it out.
And it was amazing. But oh my God, that's scary.
It was scary, wasn't it? He just looked like he lost it and joined the National Front.
Sorry.
Anyway, it turns out he's not a racist. He was reading a beautiful poem. He just hates his neighbours because of the parking. And do you know what they do? They park outside their own houses in a van.
For goodness sake.
He doesn't like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my dad. I know he's not watching because he doesn't like anything I do. So we won't be insulting him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the last act of the evening. Please put your hands together, start the clapping, start the cheering, start the whooping. I'd like to welcome back to the cabinet. She hasn't been here for a while. It's the fabulous, the amazing Mr. Tom Ward. Come on, Tom.
Oh my God.
That's Tom.
I haven't heard clapping for so long. That is just beautiful. And what's nice about it is you haven't even seen me yet, but I take it goes straight to my head. I've got one of those spongy egos. The audience have literally been told to clap and whoop, but I'm still taking it personally. So thank you, Ego, and thank you, people, for making it possible that I would feel lovely. It's not a wig. Good evening. I haven't done a gig for 125 days. And I feel like that's a good thing to say, because this gig feels a little bit like a support group for very broken people. There's one broken person from each demographic. And Christians, you've got a broken mate involved. I love the fact that earlier today they would have practiced that. And that was Thursday sorted. Because every fucking day in lockdown is just long. So that was nice in the diary that they both had that to look forward to today, isn't it? Oh, great. On Thursday, you can pretend to kill me. And then puke in the washing up bowl. That's fun, isn't it? It's so hard to know what to talk about, isn't it? Because everyone's kind of bored and tired of the disease stuff. But the world before March is sort of like talking about the 70s, isn't it? People are like, what are you talking about pre-March 2020? That's gone now. Everything before March is dead. Granddad, what are you talking about climate change and your mum for? That's all gone now. Talk about masks. Why are you talking about masks and meters? I wasn't sure. I've heard mixed reports about the masks. Some people saying they don't make any difference. Some people say they do. So I've designed a little 50-50 here. So that I can appease both sides of me and the world. I've heard that there's going to be fines soon. There's going to be fines. You get a fine if you go into a shop without wearing a mask, which is very clever, isn't it? The government have got to make that money back somehow, haven't they? I'm wondering how that's going to play out. Is it going to be like an on-the-spot fine, or are you going to get a sort of like a speeding ticket a week later, but for going into Budgeons? You get sent a grainy photo of yourself in Budgeons last week. Holding Ribena, and you have to ask your wife to pretend it was her. You've already got some points. But that would only work for those creepy couples that look similar. So wouldn't. Well, she's actually would be me most of the time, because I only go for girls with legendary hair as well. It's a weird time, very weird time. I haven't seen my father since May 2006, because he died then of a brain tumor. I've actually been banging a pan outside my house for the last 14 years to say thank you to the hospice staff that looked after him, but no one joined me then because it wasn't fashionable. I saw my mum last month for the first time since March. I missed her birthday and Mother's Day, which is excellent because I can sort of save some money. Hopefully there'll be a second outbreak just around Christmas time. I can save up for that house I'll never otherwise be able to afford, because she just won't bloody die, will she? I think me and Thea should go, because I love Thea's set, because that shows the confidence of Thea as a comedian, that she ended her set with the house. I mean, that is confident. That's a confident ending, isn't it? The house. You can tell when someone's been going for a few years. I remember 2019 fondly. It does seem like a strange thing, doesn't it? 2019. I went to South Korea. I did some gigs over there in Seoul, where my hair is absolutely fine. God, I missed that time. That was who knew that 2019 was the golden era? Think about how you felt in 2019. Now look back, yeah? Now you're thinking, I'd give anything to be back in that shit. It was just a slightly thinner amount of shit, wasn't it? It was like it came up to slightly less high on your boot. Now we're wading in shit. Back then we were just sort of just sitting around on a bit of shit. Lovely time. Lovely time looking back. Look, I've probably done my time. This is thank you so much to Dave and Shirley for having me on, where I started my comedy life in 2011 at the Cavendish Arms, and where Dave, I've never fully recovered from meeting Dave for the first time. And yeah, I don't think I'd be doing comedy if it wasn't for those two. So thank you to you both. And this is a truly surreal gig at the Cavendish. I was practicing in that earlier. That's my mirror. It's very rare that you talk about the thing that's there. What a way to end. Not as good as Thea's ending.
The house.
Keep supporting the Cavendish.
Yay! Ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I remember your first gig at Tom. I think I shouted at you.
You did. Yes, you did.
Yay! That's all I know. I can't speak in a low voice. I'm a shouty kind of guy. I hope you've enjoyed this tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about keeping comedy going, supporting brand new comedians, aspiring comedians, and aged, haggard ones like Tom, giving them a place to perform, a place to try out material. Even though pubs are closed, comedy clubs are closed, we have heard that as of the 1st of August, we might be able to open and do live comedy. Unfortunately, we'll only be allowed about 20 people in the room as opposed to the normal 70 or 80 we get. But we don't care. We're going to do it anyway. We will, as always, be begging for people to put money in a bucket or money online so we can keep paying the bills, keep paying the staff, keep paying for the rubbish to be taken away, and maybe make it through to next year and open again properly. So if you're watching and you have enjoyed this, Shirley will be putting up a PayPal thing. Please donate. Don't just watch and walk away. Please don't be that person. You wouldn't go to a restaurant, eat the food, and walk away. So please don't do it here. If you've enjoyed it, you're watching one of your friends perform, or even if you're a performer or an ex-performer, bung some money in our bucket. It will all go straight back to keeping the Cavendish going and keeping me going and keeping me talking and giving me somewhere to talk. Because before we had it, nobody would listen. Now we own a pub, everybody has to listen to me because it's our pub and I can talk to them as I like. In a moment, I'm going to do the first 4 hours of my 12-hour Edinburgh show that will be reviewed at the Cavendish at some point.
Now.